get to 85, you're going to come in for a stop and go.
It's controversial, the rule, but it does work, and it is implemented because of safety reasons. They do not want to have crashes in this pit lane, and that's what they're trying to avoid.
The pit speed. Jan Bikas, you have an update?
Well, Paul, you're talking about 80 miles an hour, and then 85 is when they'll pull you in. They have a slightly different system here this weekend. They have 2 stationary guns, and then they have 3 people that are roving. In other words, they now all communicate by radio, and if you have one gun that's a little bit high on a driver, like one guy who runs 86, but all the other guns are okay, they're going to let that slide. It looks like Mike Croft was the only one to fall victim to that this time. Another quick note, they have tried laser guns, but it turns out that Indy cars don't get picked up on laser like our road cars, so they have to stick with radar. Paul?
Smaller fronter profile. While we have you, Jan Bikas, the radar guns themselves, they are recalibrated for these much higher speeds, are they not?
Well, they don't have to really recalibrate them, Paul, because they're only running 80 miles an hour in the pit lane. And another thing that Derek Daly can tell us about is that holding an Indy car at 80 miles an hour is a lot harder than holding your street car at 55. So they have them slightly tuned. Yes, Paul, remember, they're only running 80 in the pits.
Believe it or not, they have to practice running at 80 miles an hour because they can't run cars that slowly. Normally, what you do is you select a gear, maybe it's 2nd or 3rd gear, you pick the rev range that you know you're not above 80 miles an hour, and that's what you watch as you leave the pit lane because there are no speedometers on these cars.
I know an Indiana State trooper that said you were practicing 80 miles an hour. Unfortunately, it was on an interstate, wasn't it?
No, it was in the pit lane.
Pit lane practice. Nigel Mansell leads it. Paul Tracy second, Fittipaldi third, but look at the Penske cars as they close down in an ongoing battle now for second place.
Fittipaldi is in a closer fight for this championship over Mansell. There has never been team orders here, but Paul Tracy, remember, could still win this championship if he throws another few wins together. He hasn't had the consistency, but boy, he has had the speed.
82nd lap now into the record book, 200 laps of scheduled distance. It's not a full 200 laps, 200 miles. It's actually a little further in distance, 211.6 miles. That's stretching the 2-stop race, but at the moment, owing to the yellow, the second one of the day that came out when David Kudrave hit the wall at just precisely the right time for all the pit stops, it should now be, without question, a 2 pit stop race. First one's already complete.
Look at this here, Paul. Look at this here. Fittipaldi is clearly faster than Tracy. There will be no challenge here. You can't jump your teammate. Here he goes.
So Fittipaldi moves into second place and now can set sights on Nigel Mansell. His only about 2 seconds ahead. We'll take a look at Nigel Mansell, who sits in the lead of the race. There he is. We'll look for the interval now. And there comes Fittipaldi and Tracy. So there is no cushion whatsoever between first and second. And Fittipaldi should gobble that up pretty quickly. Fittipaldi still running the fastest laps of the race at 164.7 miles an hour. Average speed of the race, 136.8. Well over the record. Let's go to Jan.
Well, Paul, when we saw Emerson Fittipaldi move by Paul Tracy, it's because when they made their pit stops, they made no changes on Paul Tracy's car, but they changed the stagger, the rear stagger on Emerson Fittipaldi's car. That's what's brought him up to speed and able to run faster than he did previously. No changes on Tracy's. Paul?
Stagger so critical on a course like this, and boy, is it paying off for Emerson Fittipaldi. Look at him close down.
Inside
not
line.
just close down. Look at how he moves to the inside of Nigel Mansell. Mansell gets caught high behind Hiro Matsushita.
Oh, it's not over yet. Mansell still has, he has the advantage, stays on the high line, but Emerson has his number. Emerson knows he is much quicker than Mansell.
Fittipaldi got caught up by a slower car as well, and now Paul Tracy comes back to battle with Fittipaldi, but he'll get caught behind Matsushita.
First, second, and third, all in a line. The Penskes are faster, but Mansell is a great street fighter at trying to use traffic to his advantage. He did it just there.
Paul Tracy finally gets clear of Matsushita, moves down to the inside, and once again Nigel Mansell has to deal with some traffic ahead. We look back from Mansell.
Here's his nightmare. The Penske gets bigger and bigger in his mirror. There's traffic again. Look what happened here. Emerson got caught in traffic again and lost about 2 or 3 car lengths.
But every time Fittipaldi loses a little momentum, he is able to drive right back to the rear of Nigel Mansell's car.
Here's the inside line again. Look at this. He makes it 2 car lengths on that inside line all the time. That's Willie T. Ribs moves. No, he doesn't move. He stays to the outside. On an oval track, the faster drivers don't like to see you move around a lot. So if you are in the high line, they like you to stay there, and then the pass is up to them.
Now Paul Tracy has to deal with Willie T as well. He does so. First, second, and third are back in contention. Again, traffic ahead of the leader.
That's Guerrero now right ahead of Mansell. So Guerrero did manage to hang on.
Guerrero will not want to give up this position, though, because he is in position of being lapped, but he continues to hang out in front there, running in 5th place.
Here it is again. Look, you can see Emerson. He's down on that inside line, and he draws up 2 or 3 car lengths, but he's not close enough here to make a lunge down the inside. No, he has a little look, changes line, but knows he's not close enough.
For the lead in the New England 200. Now you can see how close Fittipaldi truly is. That onboard camera tends to push the car following back just a little bit, but Fittipaldi is most definitely right there, and so for that matter is Paul Tracy.
That's Guerrero right ahead of him, so Guerrero I don't think is going to make things easy. He will not move over to let Mansell by, because remember, that puts him another lap down.
And they all have traffic to handle just in front of them. Stefan Johansson now in front of Roberto Guerrero.
Oh, there's a big traffic jam now. Look at Guerrero. Mansell tries to come down the inside.
And here comes Tracy. Tracy comes up to challenge Fittipaldi on the outside. They split around a slower car. Tracy comes into 2nd place now. He dives for the lead alongside of Mansell, and Paul Tracy in a lap comes 3rd to the lead.
It's not over yet. Look at Mansell.
Tucks his nose in, moves to the inside. Again, Roberto Guerrero a factor. Paul Tracy maintains the higher groove.
Well, and one fell swoop. Oh, look at this, look at this. Emerson now tries to put a lap on Guerrero.
Tracy moves around Guerrero. Mansell still moving up high on him. Fittipaldi still close.
Such close wheel-to-wheel racing. When you're lapping people here in ovals, you have to be so careful not to move offline. But Paul Tracy, such a decisive move to move past Fittipaldi and then slice past Mansell, gave him no recourse or no reason or no way to come back on him.
So Tracy assumes the lead of the race. Look at the crack in the lens on Nigel Mansell's car. You think it's not rough and dangerous out there? More than just other cars in your way. Back in the New England 200, Nigel Mansell climbs all over the back end of Paul Tracy's car, trying to catch him. Paul Tracy having to deal with traffic just ahead at Stefan Johansson that he will have to battle. Johansson moves up high. Tracy comes down to the inside. Mansell tries to get past Johansson, and he can't do it.
Yeah, Fittipaldi got the bad run there. Mansell did get back by him, but how quickly the face of the race changes when you have traffic.
97 laps complete.
And that's a battle for position that they're passing. Mario Andretti and Scott Goodyear, who they're just about to come up behind, is also a battle for position on the track. That's 10th and 11th.
Paul Tracy now begins to pull away. Fittipaldi still the fastest car on the racetrack, and the race average coming up at 139 miles an hour. That's 6 miles an hour faster than the record set here last year by Bobby Rahal at 133 miles an hour. That tremendous battle at the front of the field, broken off for the moment. We take a look back to the pass.
And Tracy set it up when they were all in traffic. Here it is. He got past his teammate. He slices down the inside of Mansell, then goes inside Guerrero, and that's it. It was over.
And Mansell takes a chance, comes to the high side of Guerrero, nearly gets pinched up to the wall to continue his pursuit of Paul Tracy.
Now, Emerson, I think, is still in good shape because you mentioned the fastest lap. He is actually 2.7 miles an hour quicker than the next fastest man, which is his teammate, Paul Tracy. So Emerson comfortably fastest on the racetrack, so he can bide his time. He looks in very good shape.
And Mansell closes in a bit again.
This is a great fight. This is what Mansell likes. Hard, close racing where he has to fight hard. Mansell is a very physical driver in the car. Wrestles with the steering wheel. Pushes the car all the time. Doesn't mind if it gets loose. Quite confident that he can handle it. But this is the type of fight that he likes. And it's often the type of fight that he wins.
Mansell was 0.8 ahead at the line on the last lap. He is now closed 3.5 on that. It's just a tick over 0.4.
And it was like this before the last round of pit stops, and Mansell managed to get back into the lead. Maybe he's thinking of a similar move in the pits for the next stop.
Paul Tracy's been very competitive on the 1 mile ovals this year, but he's crashed while leading both at Phoenix and at Milwaukee. We asked Paul, did he learn from these experiences?
Well, I think so. You know, talking to Rick, and he said you got to pay attention to all the details. And before, in that race, I was coming up on guys and passing them so quickly that they didn't even know that I was there or that I was coming by. And I think sure you got to get by people quickly. And that was one of the reasons why I got such a big lead. But I think coming into this race, you got to take a look at guys and see how they're handling, and then make your move, because you don't know what's wrong with the guy or if he's got a handling problem. And the majority of the time, people don't see you because they're just trying to get around the track themselves. And I think that's one of the things I've learned, and been able to practice on road courses and really pay attention to the details on the road courses coming up on guys, and that helped a lot.
Tracy seems a lot better balanced in figuring these races and staying with it. You got a glimpse of Johnny Unser there for a second as Tracy now comes around Mike Groff, who drives the second Rahal Hogan car. He's had an occasional ride in that, as he is the test driver this year. Johnny Unser, by the way, is Bobby and Al's nephew. So Paul Tracy is in front of the field, being chased by Nigel Mansell. Back at the New England 200 as Emerson Fittipaldi, car number 4, closes on Nigel Mansell, the red number 5. This is a battle developing for second place. Paul Tracy has been able to pull away from Nigel Mansell. Mansell had closed to within 0.4, but now he's fallen back. He's 1.3 seconds behind the leader of the race, Paul Tracy, and being threatened somewhat by Emerson Fittipaldi. Let's go down to the pits, get an update on Danny Sullivan.
Well, Paul, Danny Sullivan has made an early exit to today's race, and you pulled straight back to the garage area. What happened?
Well, we just had terrible handling problems. We don't know what. The car was very, very loose, just the back end wanting to slide around. We changed everything, lowered the car, tried everything we possibly could out in the pit lane and in the cockpit. Nothing mattered. We were just in everybody's way.
Thank you, Danny. Let's get back upstairs.
Nigel Mansell, second place. Now in a bit of a fight with Bobby Rahal. Rahal finally sees him there, moves to the high side. And in just those last few laps, he was able to clip off 0.5 off of Paul Tracy and is closing back in.
It's unusual that now we have seen 2 front runners come out with bad handling problems.
Mario Andretti comes into the pits. This is the 112th lap.